right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show presented, as always, by our friends at High Noon. We are going to be doing some block party check-ins with our guy, Neil Schuster. Hello, Neil. How are you?
Good to be here. Long afternoon. Glad we got the grill working.
You guys got some questions to answer, I think, a little later on. DJ Pie is here. Hello, Pie Man.
Hey guys, happy to be with you. Happy Masters opening day. We're back, baby. We're back. Had a great day.
Of golf. Awesome day of golf. I'm so excited. There's so much to talk about, so much to react to. We got some guests that are going to be flowing in. We got Kevin Van Valkenburg, who's been on site. He's going to be flowing in. I know he was following Phil a little bit today, but listen, it is here. You've heard us talk about it. You are looking at it on screen right now. It is the High Noon Tequila Seltzer made with real Blanco tequila and real juice. I don't know about you guys, I find my go-to drink whenever I go to a restaurant, anywhere, I look for the best tequila drink. That's my baby. And so when I found out that they were coming out with a tequila seltzer, I could not wait to get my hands on them. We've got them here in Jack's.
And now you don't have to leave the house.
I don't. I live way even closer to a Publix now. I think I'm probably 90 seconds away from stocking up on more High Noon tequila seltzers when I need to. It's available in 4 bright, crisp flavors. It's strawberry, lime, grapefruit, and I've got the passion fruit right here. I got the cooler with the ice right behind me as well. I'm fully stocked up for the night. 100 calories, gluten-free, no added sugar. They've already hit the shelves in a lot of places, and they're fully available nationwide by May 1st, just in time for summer. And you can look for High Noon on Drizzly or at your local convenience or liquor store, or visit highnoonspirits.com to find it near you.
Guys, Drizzly drop off, Zolly, and look for the green. Didn't realize that the tequila was a green label.
Topical.
That's how you know.
For the Masters.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
What's the biggest story of the day, Deej?
John Rahm. I think. I mean, doubling the first hole, battling back. He is who we thought he was. You can't sink this guy. They're calling him the buoy out there, you know. And I don't know. I know that's kind of been the story for quite a while now. But
it's cliche, though. Everyone's been saying that.
No, I mean that was unbelievable round of golf.
Neil, what's your biggest story of the day?
Rahm spotting everybody 2 strokes and then going 9 under on 17 holes is tough to beat. I think Brooks though is probably. If Rahm's 1, I think Brooks is 1A. Just somebody awaken the bully. The beast is back, doing big things. Also, some stuff we got to talk about on 15, but we'll get there later. But I think, I kind of had I thought Brooks was going to no-show, and he kind of did the opposite. He was around all day, got off to a hot start, and kept it rolling through the end.
I got to say, Brooks is probably my biggest story of the day. I'm excited to see it. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm curious, do you guys have what kind of caddying experience do you guys have in the Masters? So do you guys have any, between the two of you, any years of experience?
In the U.S. Masters?
Yes, the U.S. Masters.
No, I've never caddied in the U.S. Masters. I've caddied some other stuff, some smaller events, but I don't think the Masters, I would have to check my schedule.
Just for DJ and the BMW Charity Pro-Am, where we didn't do all that well, but
let me, if you'll allow me, why don't we bring in somebody that has, I believe, 18 years of experience at caddying at Augusta National and the Masters, that is from NBC, but I'd say best known for his caddying days, Mr. John Wood. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks you guys for having me.
What was your biggest story of the day?
My biggest story of the day is the depth of the studs on the leaderboard. Usually you get this rising to the top towards the end on Sunday, but gosh, you look at the top 20 and it is just littered with studs. And the funny thing was today, on a day when you really didn't need a whole lot of course knowledge because it was soft and not a lot of wind, usually you get a few names up there you're scratching your head at, but there's not a single name up there where you're going, that guy can't win this week. So to me, it's the top 20 guys are all, guys that wouldn't surprise you if they won.
I think a dream major is when you look at like the 7th or 8th or 9th best story of the day. And it doesn't even get your juices going, even though it's unbelievable. Like, oh yeah, an amateur went out and he played bogey-free golf, and he's in the top 10. Like, that was cool. That was cool. But yeah, we've got 8 other things to go talk about.
Here's my reaction to today, though. This is like the staggered start of the Tour Championship. It's the tournament hasn't really even started yet. The conditions are going to be so different going forward that whatever happened today. I mean, it's a handicap system for the remaining 3 days of the tournament. But I mean, listen, we're going to talk Rory. Like, Rory's not out of it that far back because I think the conditions are going to change so drastically that I don't know. It just feels like there's it always feels like there's a ton of golf left at this point. And there always is, but it feels like even more right now because of what's about to come.
I kind of want to change my top story of the day to Brooks, honestly. John, you want to talk about Brooks a little bit? What did you see from him? What were you expecting coming in?
You know, having the fact that he played well last week and he looks healthy is a huge, you know, wouldn't surprise me that he played so well. But he just looked in control from the second the day started. There wasn't any apprehension. I think a lot of the LIV guys probably are coming into this week with a little extra pressure going, I have to perform, not only for myself, but to show everybody that I can still play at this level. Because, you know, a lot of those guys, they've become a little irrelevant, to be honest with you. You don't see them week in, week out on tour. You don't really know how they're playing. So the fact that he's really the one that showed up and just played solid golf from start to finish, very impressive.
There's a lot of, obviously you've been around the Masters for a long time, and a lot of people made the comp of, you know, in the old days, you wouldn't really see the European players very much. And then they'd show up at the Masters and you didn't really know what to expect. And I kind of loved having that little bit of mystery. I mean, I know I obviously could watch the LIV stuff and I could follow it. And it's just, you know, there's only so much room for so many golf tournaments a week. But I kind of loved that. John, I'm curious if you've had any experiences like that in the Masters of just, man, I had no idea who that guy was and showed up and he just blew me away.
That's a good question. Boy, I'd have to think about that a little bit. I'm sure there's been some guys over the years. I remember playing with Matsuyama actually fairly early on when he was playing in the Masters for the first time before he was obviously who he is now, and being very impressed with his game seemed perfectly suited for Augusta. He hits it so high, hits his iron so straight. So that was one guy that I remember playing with early on that I kind of went, wow, this guy is not, I had no idea who he was. And he was really impressive early on.
I've said this all along. I try my absolute best to just follow my gut instincts as to where my rooting interests lie when it comes to watching LIV, watching PGA Tour golf, watching anything. And I can't. I'm a little drawn to the team aspect, but I can't really take anything else from LIV seriously. Man, I'm surprised by how into the Brooks thing I am. I'm like ready for him to go out and beat the doors off people. I have no. It's just two totally separate things. There's major championship golf and there's professional golf. And I really do think they're two separate things. And as much as all the LIV stuff has bothered me in so many ways as it relates to the week in, week out golf, we see the majors are separate and it feels elevated. It feels bigger than I even thought it would feel. And I think a Brooks returning to glory kind of storyline, I'm here for all of that. I'm ready to ride that out. However, some interesting stuff happened in the 15th fairway today. John, I think you may have something to add on this. You floated this out on Twitter. There's maybe a rules incident that's popping up. Brooks Koepka hits his second shot into 15. And man, it sure looks like in the video that as Ricky Elliott's walking away and Gary Woodland's caddy, sorry, I forget his name, is kind of walking in front.
Brennan Little
sure looks like he is saying 5 a couple times to him, directly at him with eye contact, if I may say. And this was kind of looked into by a rules official, and they've ultimately determined no penalty on this. John, what's your reaction to this as a caddy?
Yeah, I watched it as well, and I was a little taken aback by it initially. It surprised me. I love Ricky to death, one of my favorite guys out there in any capacity. And in those situations when you see another caddy looking at you, I mean, there's a way you kind of do things typically.
There's a code.
Dip the club down, kind of clean it off this way, and let him take a look. You know, I was shocked that Ricky mouthed it. Now I wasn't there. I don't know if there was somebody else he was mouthing it to. It just looked a little suspicious to me. And said they talked to him after the round and cleared things up. So it's tough to not be in that conversation, hear what everything has to say, and have an opinion, but watching it on the air, it looked a little suspicious to me.
It's an interesting situation with this rule. I've never seen it between caddies. You know, like as somebody who got called for this in junior golf, my first junior golf tournament of all time, for soliciting club advice on the second
little different scenario. You just asked the guy what club he had.
I've always had this rule is always in the back of my head, an early golf memory for me, but I've never seen the caddies. You know, I never even really thought that, the caddies can't do it either. So I wonder after the round if they asked the players, did they ask the caddies as well? And John, I'm curious, like, what is that conversation like for a caddy and a player? Like, is that a fireable offense right there? Like, if he's like, yep, you know what, I did it.
In that case, I would say no, to be honest with you. Those two have such a great relationship. But if you were early on or in a relationship working for a guy, or if it was just kind of a business, arrangement completely, yeah, I think it would be fireable. But those guys are so tight. They're such great friends. Even had it been a penalty, I don't think it would have been a fireable offense. But like I said, it's one of those things if someone wants to know, you step away from the bag, you let them look, you hold the club down. There's ways to do it without, mouthing the club. And so it was just it looked odd to me on television.
Yeah. I will say one other thing. I do think just flat out this rule, like whether it was broken or not here, I think the punishment outweighs the crime a little bit. A 2-stroke penalty it's always felt a little excessive to me for that situation. Do you guys agree with that or disagree?
I don't. I mean, it's kind of like if it's only one shot, it's almost maybe potentially at times worth trying to get away with, right? It's a guarding against like, hey, don't do this. Like there's no room in the game for this at all.
Sure.
And I don't know, not the biggest storyline, but man, it's just that video's tough. It really is tough. I usually leave TC to get really worked up about the rule stuff, and this has nothing to do with LIV or anything. It's just like, dude, man, that was a really tough scene. And Morikawa had a tough looking scene today as well, which we can talk about. It ended up not being a big deal. But John, I'm curious, while we have your time here, flipping over this golf course is tomorrow. I believe the afternoon's going to be 46 degrees plus rain at 7,500 yards. What, like, I think we know it's going to help the longer hitters, I think, but tell us what's about to happen to Augusta National.
Honestly, we have no idea what's going to happen in the next 2 days. That's what's so bizarre. You can't prepare for anything. I mean, these guys that played this morning, they might not hit a shot for 48 hours or more. I mean, if this weather comes in hard tomorrow, stays till Saturday for a little bit, these guys who played in the afternoon will have to play 18 and then, have to get their full 18 in, and then the next wave will start. Who knows when that's going to be? On paper, yeah, I would say it definitely favors the big hitters, the guys who can carry it a long way. But I also think it takes away that course knowledge factor a lot, if only because it's softer. Balls land and they stop. That course knowledge is huge when it's firm and fast. I can't miss it here because you can't get that ball up and down. You can't two-putt from there. When the greens are slower and they're softer, conditions are softer, those things tend to go away, and you kind of just fire at flags, and it just becomes a harder test physically just because it's cold. The ball's not going as far. But if you execute, there's nothing really to figure out. It's going to land where you hit it, and it's going to stop. So I don't know what the wind forecast is, and that's going to have a lot more to say about it. But if it lays down and it's just soft and cold, I think it plays into the long hitters.
You've obviously been out there a million times, and I think everybody loves to talk, sub air, and how much control Augusta has of the golf course. Can you, either from personal experience or just generally, like how much control do they have? How much is the golf course going to change? How much is it going to stay the same? What's that going to kind of be like?
I think they have a lot of control over the greens. I mean, they can turn on that sub air and just get all the moisture out in a heartbeat. But I don't think they'll do that, because if the course is playing so long, because it's going to be soft and wet, and all of a sudden you take all that moisture out and make them firm and fast, and guys are hitting long irons into these holes, they're not going to be able to stop them. And if you land a yard short of the green, it just stops. So will they bring some of the moisture out of the greens? Yes, but I don't think they'll get them to that point like a normal sunny, hot week where they get firm and fast. The course drains incredibly well. I don't ever remember seeing puddles or water collect in the fairways, but that doesn't mean that the ball won't be stopping and, collecting mud on some of the balls. So it's one of those things, you have no idea what's going to happen the next 3 rounds.
This is gonna be a horrible follow-up question to that, because you literally just said we have no idea what's gonna happen in the next few rounds. But I was floating this question of God asked this question: is a Monday finish possible at the Masters? I think the last time it happened was 1983 by my count. I think Golf Digest had an article. I think so.
Yes, I looked that up this morning because I was wondering about that too. If it happened it has not happened in my lifetime, which is wild. But it also looks like not thunderstorms, I don't think. So it's just rain. And if they can play it, they're going to play it, I think, right? I mean,
if you're handicapping right now, who in the draw as well, is there anyone that any draw that you think might have it better? I feel like the guys that just got off the golf course will have it better.
I do too, because I think there's a chance they're going to play some golf tomorrow. The guys that finished this morning, like I said, they might not hit a shot tomorrow on the golf course. And having a whole day off during a major is, it's a pain. Not only that, but all of a sudden you got to play catch up the next 2 days. You got a lot more golf to play in a shorter amount of time, which brings a lot of fatigue in. But I agree with you. The guys that finished this afternoon, my first instinct is they'll have a little advantage.
God, we're gonna have so much to talk about. We're gonna talk about who's a mutter, who's not, earth matter, or, things of that nature.
Organic matter.
Organic matter. Thank you. No mud balls. All right, there will be no mud balls mentioned.
What's your reaction to watching the 13th hole today, the new tee on 13?
I thought it was great.
I
thought it was great. I think it showed that if you took on that tee shot, you could still get 5, 6, 7 iron in your hand. But you had to hit a great tee shot. It wasn't the before you stood up there, and a lot of the guys, they were just taking it so high over the corner or aiming at the corner trees and hitting as far and turning it over and getting 9 irons in their hand. And I didn't really like that. I think it's perfect where they have it now, where you have to hit a great tee shot and you're rewarded for it. So I thought for the first day, I thought it was great.
Day one, great. I'm nervous about how it's going to play the rest of the tournament. If it's, if it is as soft and wet and cold as it is, and if it's going to turn into layup central. But I thought the whole golf course today played pretty close to perfect. Some fun
my understanding, Solly, is that new tee is one big long tee. So they have the opportunity to go back, but they can still move it to right where it was before. If it gets really cold and wet and into the wind, they can still move it back up to where it played before. So I think they have a lot of different opportunities to put it in different spots there.
I don't think so. That it's 8 yards higher actually, and I don't think that thing is fully extended. All the images I've seen have looked like they may be able to go to the front of the box, and that might be less than 545. But I don't think they can. That was kind of a point we were making earlier in the week of like, dude, they've limited their flexibility on these holes, which they did with 15 last year, is what we saw as well.
I talked to a couple buddies and they said they could still move it up to a place where it was similar. So maybe I'm totally off on it. I don't know.
Your buddies probably are better than just me watching it on
you never know.
Screen. But yeah,
they were texting me from the practice round. So I don't know.
That was the nicest way to put me down as possible.
Anything changed, for you personally, now that you're a broadcaster, now that you're out there in kind of a different perspective? Anything changed about how you watch golf?
I don't watch a lot of it, to be honest with you. This week, the majors, but normal events, I probably don't watch a whole heck of a lot of it. And I don't know that I did when I was caddying either. So, but watching now, I tend to, probably a lot more critic's eye instead of watching and thinking of it as a caddy. I think a lot more about how shots should be played and how they're talked about afterwards and before. So a little bit more of a critic's eye, probably.
I got a couple inside caddy questions for you.
Go for it.
What do you think in your 18 years out there, the hardest hole out there is?
It depends a lot on conditions and wind direction. But one is so underratedly difficult. It's a hard drive. You don't want to go in that right bunker, but that right bunker is not that bad because you can get it over that lip and get it to the green. You can go through on the left so easily. That green is one of the most complicated on the course. There's really no great misses to it. But I think a lot of it depends on conditions. 1, 5, 11. Like I said, it goes day to day on wind conditions and pin and hole location. But I would say 1, 5, 11 are the ones that come to my head initially.
And second question, we were getting word from our boots on the ground, KVV, that it was hot and steamy out there today. As a caddy, what are you doing under the coverall? How are you staying cool under the caddy gear? What's the secret there?
And how warm are they? They look very thick.
They're very thick. They are burlap-like. But it was always a gym shorts and t-shirts kind of week for me. I was, I would say some of the guys go a little more risque, which I won't get too detailed on that. But
just a t-shirt, nothing on the bottom.
For me, it was always just gym shorts and a t-shirt every day. But they are hot on those warm days. They are exceptionally hot.
Before we do run you, I just pulled up an image of the 13th tee. They cannot move that up. But for all the people in the comments saying you're dunking on me, I'm gonna take the W on this one. I'm not taking the L on this one. So
I'm trusting you.
See, can you see that on the screen? Yeah, I don't see where they could go up too far if they get
not too much farther. You're right.
Yeah.
I think before you get out of here, we gotta just cliche favorite memory of caddying in the Masters. I mean, obviously you were with Kuchar for a bunch of great years. I'm sure was awesome. But anything else come to mind?
Oh man, Cooch made hole in one on 16 one year. That was probably, and he was playing well at the time, so that was a lot of fun. But Augusta, honestly, it was the only tournament all year long where you don't want to leave. You know, you're just there. You get there, you're so excited to be there, and then all of a sudden it's Thursday, and then all of a sudden it's Sunday, and you're walking out. And I just remember being so sad every year, having to walk away, going, I don't get to come back here for another year. And it's the only course. There's other tournaments I love, but that's the only course that I've just feel like I've had a love affair with. Just getting there, everything about the place is perfect. The members are so nice to you. They do such a great job for the caddies that, before it became popular to treat caddies well, Augusta did that years and years and years and years ago. So, a lot of great memories there.
I guess on that note, I just have a vivid memory of Kuchar on 15 with either with the lead or with a chance to make birdie for the lead. What does anything change, and how does it change? Caddying down the stretch in the hunt. How does the game plan change? How does the aggression change? All of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how many chances do you get to win the Masters? So it's the one place you do change a lot depending on where you are coming down the stretch. If you're 4 or 5 shots back, you've got some gamble opportunities. Funnily enough, my first ever Masters was with Mark Calcavecchia, and I think in 2000, I believe, he was having a rotation of guys, and he called me to work the Masters for him. And I'll never forget, it's my first one. And we are literally standing on the 13th tee on Sunday, 1 shot back at Tiger. And, he's playing behind us. And I'm thinking, it's my first Masters. And all of a sudden, hey, Calc might win this thing. And we had a long wait back there. And he kind of sniped a 3-wood. And that kind of ended our hopes and ended up finishing 4th or something like that. But yeah, that's a place where it's not like a US Open or a PGA where you just kind of, okay, I'm in the lead. Hang on. You can be 5 back with 5 to play and think I got a good chance here still. So yeah, that aggression at Augusta changes a lot.
All right. Well, before I know Solly's gonna get you out of here, but we gotta have it. Anybody we should be watching? Who you got? You got to make a pick for us.
He broke my heart a little bit today, as he did others. But I liked McIlroy coming into the week, but with that great scoring today, he only could pull out an even par, which was disappointing. If I had to pick one guy right now, I'm going with Cameron Young.
I love it.
Love that.
Can't wait to discuss Cam Young. God, he is here to stay. But John, you're welcome at the Rory block party. I appreciate that. Listen, we're gonna fire up the grill tomorrow. We'll be out there. We'll be in the park. If you know where to find us.
I love it.
Park by the elementary school. It's getting full.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, Woody, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck
guys.
The rest of the week, and enjoy watching the Masters. Thank you.
You guys too. Thanks a lot, John. Bye-bye.
All right. Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I don't know about if you guys have gotten your shipments, but I am taking AG1 by Athletic Greens. I'm taking it every day. I gave it a try. I gave AG1 a try because I'd heard some great things about it. I wanted an energy boost from something other than coffee. I was a little suspect of it. I was like, is this really going to give me an energy boost? Can confirm. I'm running up and down the house. I'm wearing shoes in the house. It keeps me active. I don't know if I can credit AG1 with that or not, but I take it every morning. Gets me moving in the mornings. I'm not really a morning person, but I love starting my day with something healthy. It makes me feel like I can cheat the rest of the day. Again, that's not a promise that AG1 is making for you. That is my editorializing this one. AG1 is much more than a greens powder. It is all of your key health products in one. It's got 75 high-quality ingredients that gives me all my daily nutrients and long-term gut health support. If you guys ever want to go down a wormhole, gut health, that's hot in these streets right now. So you can learn more all about that, of course, on the Athletic Greens website. It costs less than $3 a day. It is a comprehensive solution of what you need from your supplement routine. Then give Athletic Greens a try, and they'll give you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/NLU. That's athleticgreens.com/NLU and check it out. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. Yeah, I'm amped about Cam Young. He was early enough in the day that we kind of have forgotten that sneaky little 5-under round.
It was
as well.
a statement, man. It was so boring. It was so routine, and that's what's impressive about it. As second Masters, and it just looked really normal what he was doing. Got off to a hot start. And kind of let off the gas in the middle of the round, but then finished strong with birdies on 15 and 16. So I was really impressed with his round.
Do you guys get, I saw the viewers would not have seen this, but when Woody mentioned Cam Young, Cody was double fist pumping, almost fell out of his chair. So excited to hear the name Cam Young. I've heard some reasons from him earlier today on why Cam just absolutely does it for him. Do you guys feel the same way? Do you get super jacked up about Cam Young and why or why not?
In a different way. Personally, I get jacked up about Spieth and Rory because it's more relatable and it's, up and down, and they're kind of letting you in on the emotional side of golf. And with Cam Young, it's more like how I view when I watch other sports, like when I watch the NBA, it's like, man, this guy's just like super duper talented. It's almost like watching a guy jump out of the gym. You're like, man, he's hitting like 188 ball speed, and it looks like he's taking a practice swing.
Flying the driver 160 feet in the air.
Dude, that was
and I think that's more just like talent, like shocked by the talent, right? Of like, yo, you were born with that, and you're leveraging your potential. Like that's fun to watch as well, even if he doesn't let me in with the roller coaster ride that I tend to watch. That's the kind of golf I like to watch, but I really appreciate what I'm seeing from Cam Young. I think that's good in the game of golf.
I swear it was watching him a little bit at the Players in person gave me a whole different, like, oh shit. Like that's, now that I've seen that shot shape in person, now when I watch it on TV, I remember what that looked like in person, and I'm more in awe of it, right? Like it doesn't always jump like 155 feet in the air, which is where his opening tee shot went today. Like it doesn't really mean a whole lot unless I think back to the tee shot I watched him hit on 15 at TPC Sawgrass. I was like, holy shit, man. I watch a lot of pro golf, and I do not see dudes launch it that high. And that's why I'm kind of starting with him more than I am the three guys in the lead, just because if this does become a carry distance contest, like that dude has it, right? And I don't know. It seems like that kind of, we talked about in the preview too, of like, the guys that aren't as sharp at the putter can get away with a little bit more at Augusta National. I
think people have seen Ben Hotailing on our team play a little bit of golf on our YouTube channel and probably know that he fucking nukes the ball, right? And Ben is so psyched to hit 95 feet in the air with the driver.
So Bennett's at low. Yeah.
It's 155, 160 feet is insane. I said something on Slack to you guys. I don't disagree with any of this. To me, I totally respect the talent, but it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just watching pro sports to try to connect with something a little more emotional, I guess. But to me, he's like watching a unbelievable third baseman that just plays for somebody else's team. Where I'm just like, oh man, Alex Bregman, which is just a hell of a player. Man, you guys are lucky to have him. Cool. It's awesome. Awesome.
Wade Boggs, that guy plays the game the right way.
But it's never going to be like, oh my God, we got to go get tickets to watch Bregman. This is going to be insane.
That's fair.
Unless you live in Houston.
I do like some comments rolling in that Cam is what, he might be Treadstone. He might be the asset.
I would say his kill rate's not very great so far.
Well, listen, he's in the training program.
Across the finish line.
He's in the training, but he's got potential. I mean, he's been. It sounds like he's been activated, which is good stuff. He's what Cantlay should have been. That's the comments I'm seeing.
Why don't we go to our guy on the ground? He is in the Augusta National press building right now. He has got a better background than I think all of us actually have now. Mr. Kevin Van Valkenburg is on site for us at the Masters. KVV, how are you this evening?
Hello, lads. It's nice to be here. I bet when you were like tweeting stupid shit in college, you never thought you'd be broadcasting live from inside the Masters.
I definitely didn't. I didn't think that a year ago either. So
the call is coming from inside the house. How's the Wi-Fi, KVV?
It's pretty good. I got to think that a lot of infrastructure has been improved here. So yeah, I think probably better than it's been in my house, but get a lot of some comments about the Wi-Fi at the terrible Airbnb that I have. So this should be improved.
What did you do today? What did you see? And what's your top story of the day?
I decided that it would be fun to follow around Phil Mickelson and basically float among the gallery and just listen to what people have to say. I feel like sometimes golf media can be a little bit of a bubble. And so I wanted to get some boots on the ground and take the temperature of the people. And it was, I think, pretty entertaining. It was a lot of funny comments, a lot of, a few cruel comments, a lot of support, and also truly got to see Phil Mickelson play a quintessential Phil Mickelson round. He hit 2 drivers off the deck, including one from the pine straw, way right of number 2. I heard Tron calling it the Allegiant counter over there instead of the
Delta counter's left.
Allegiant
is right.
counter's right. I was right there when he just ripped driver low through the trees. The ball flew all the way over to the other side, ran down a cart path. Then he hit an unbelievable pitch to about 4 feet and made a birdie. And it was like, he's back. He's truly back. I watched him hit an unbelievable driver off the deck at 8. I think you might have seen that.
What a shot.
That was unreal.
God.
He called, that was like, I asked him, how did that feel? And he was like, oh, that was salty. That was truly salty. And I'll tell you what, guys, Phil has been very
That's because it looks like he hasn't had salt in about 6 weeks. But
we'll get to that too.
MSG diet.
Phil has been very muted, very sort of like he's attending a funeral all week. And over the course of the round, he started to sort of, I think, feel a little bit alive again. And then after the round, he was still like he's a little bit wary of engaging with the media the way he once did. And then I was like, Phil, like, what's going on with your weight? Like, you've lost a ton of weight. Like, why are you so skinny? You look, pretty good. And he was like, oh, thank you. Like, and his face kind of lit up and he was like, well, I basically just stopped eating food. And it was like the old Phil of like trying to explain things was back. And honestly, like Phil's obviously done and said some things that I, don't agree with. But you know what? I've always enjoyed the sort of back and forth with Phil in general. And it was just fun to see a little bit of light in his eyes again and just see him kind of having fun. His wife was there for the first time in like 2 years. So they were kind of hugging after the round. It was just like kind of, if you put all the live stuff aside, which some people are able to do, it was kind of fun to watch Phil again and sort of see him engage in the way that he once did.
How many thumbs up did you see?
You know what, Neil? That's a great question because the very beginning, very few thumbs up. Very like it used to be that if you said something, hey, go Phil, you'd get a thumbs up no matter what. Walking down the fairway, he'd give 10 thumbs up a whole, and on a bad day. And today it might have gotten maybe one every 2 or 3 holes, maybe. But by the end of the round, he was like fist bumping. He was like, putting out the thumbs. He was basically being, Richard Nixon on the 18th green. Like, it was, I really felt, I don't know if it felt good for Phil, but it was just like, it was a different Phil than what we saw when he was apparently like sulking his way through the champions dinner, not talking to anyone. He was back kind of feeling alive again.
It's kind of like, it feels like this tournament feels a little bit like someone that you've had a enormous blow up fight with. And I'm talking about the live dudes, but like you got some major shit you need to work through. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's like, hey, can we just pause that for like a week and like, let's just hang out.
What are we fighting about, man? What are we
just
fighting
have
about?
a little bit, like we'll deal with all that later, but like, let's have fun. Let's remember like what made our friendship really good or our relationship really good. Let's embrace that this week. We'll worry about that on Monday. Like we'll worry about that next week. That's what it feels like watching a lot of these live dudes that have done some shit. The ones that haven't really done shit are very easy to root for and still kind of pay attention to in this tournament. Phil's done some shit. Mickelson et al. Is the name of the lawsuit.
I think he's done some dirt, man.
I think he drafted the bylaws for this league. Like he's an instigator of all this. Yet at the same time, like, dude, I didn't want to see him go shoot 78 today. I wanted to see what we saw today, which is him go double, birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey on the back nine. And finished with a 71. It was awesome.
Just, I mean, the 11-12 exchange, Solly, was like a perfect, like quintessential Mickelson. He just, hits a drive right in the middle of 11 fairway, completely wipes an iron right in the middle of the pond, makes double, on 11, and then comes back on 12 and just to 6 feet behind the pin. You're like, yep, that's the dude. Like that's kind of how he's always been. And he was, I don't know, he was just sort of fun afterwards. I think as the day went on, you heard a lot more people like cheering for him and getting excited. And I think he could sort of feel that a little bit. At the beginning of the day, people were kind of, there was some comments like people making fun of him a little bit. Liv wants her money back, and Augusta, that's a sort of a dicey thing to be yelling. I heard one guy be like, you don't yell at live players. They were very serious about that. I don't know if they were like saying that at the front gate or whatever, but there was a little bit of concern that you could, get booted if you were too mean to some of the live players. But by the end, it was like, oh, let's go, Phil. I love you, Phil. So.
I was going to say, I was surprised walking the U.S. Open last year, right as all that was going on. I was like, oh, temperature of the room is just a little different out here than it was maybe about how the media was reacting to this. But
I think it's also a good reminder that like most people are not on Twitter for 75 hours a week.
Yes.
Right. Just following all of this stuff and kind of just constantly injecting themselves with all the drama. And most of the people are just like, what? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, no, I think he's playing in that other league or something. I don't know. Anyways, like, oh yeah, good shot, Phil. Good shot.
Man, he looks really skinny though.
Yeah. Huh. Right. Yeah.
Yes,
but it's funny, even as someone who does follow it for 75 hours a week, it was funny, like watching that shot on 8. It's like, oh fuck yeah, man! Come on, let's go. We gotta make that. Let's go. Truly, it was just amazing. I was kind of ashamed at how quickly I was back in.
It was funny to hear him like talk about that shot, DJ. It was like quintessential old Phil. It's like, okay, so because I was like, well, how did you hit that shot?
That's hard of a shot.
All right, listen, Kevin. He was like, got into crouch, and he was like, I came out. I hit like 10 shots last week.
Over here. You guys are going to want to hear this. Yeah. Tony, get over here. You guys want to hear this.
And I if I go way left there, I'm definitely making double. But if I go, way right, like I'm just as much trouble. And it's just, it's really important to sort of stay down on that. But it was like, it was fun. It reminded me of like when he was talking about hitting the wedge off a cart path. Like, it goes 15% further, so you have to take that into account. I was like, all right, this is a guy that sort of entertained me for a long time, man.
He's the best. What on a non-Phil note? What's your reaction? I don't know what else you got to see today, but your reaction to what we see kind of near the top of the leaderboard.
I did see the cat for a little bit. He looked kind of not great early.
He's just kind of there.
He is just kind of there. Had much bigger gallery than Phil. They kind of passed each other at one point where, Phil was going up 1 and Tiger was going down 9. But I don't know. I mean, I'd say I watched a little bit of Rory. That was.
Can we do Rory now? Let's do Rory now.
That's that. Yeah, might as well.
Neil, as the leader and the organizer of the block party, I'll let you have the first word.
This was, if he had missed that putt on 18, it would have been, I think Nance or Immelman said it, 5 consecutive first rounds at Augusta over par. He did make that putt, so he was even par, which is better. Listen, that's a step in the right direction, and I thought that was a big putt. The bogey on 17 was a Houdini punch to the stomach. We hate seeing that, but I actually thought that Rory dug it out of the dirt a little bit today. I feel like in years past, this round is 2 over. And he is just moping around. And, I didn't get any bad body language out of him for the most part. I mean, obviously he was living and dying on every putt. And I think Dottie was talking about it too. I watched almost every shot he hit, going through the, masters.com. If they weren't showing him, I was watching him on replay. And he wasn't really off. Like, he hit a couple squirrely drives, but for the most part, it was just like, man, he missed his spot by a couple feet. Like, I think on 7, rolls down to the right. It's like, dang, man, like it wasn't bad golf like it has been in the past. It was just a little off. And so that makes me feel a little encouraged, because I do think that a soppy golf course is a good thing for Rory. So I'm not counting him out. Even 7 back, I think he could make some noise still. So we are taking receipts. We're taking receipts. I've got the biker gang from Peoria coming in to help me with crowd control and security. All right. And, there are some people that won't be welcome back into the block party. I'll tell you that right now.
Order more kegs, Neil. Just order more kegs. We'll figure out, drink them one way or another.
And I will say, just as long as we're on the topic, I wasn't wild about Solly standing over our shoulder at the grill all day. Just, oh, you really shouldn't be eating all those burgers. There's a lot of cholesterol in those burgers. I don't know. You guys looking at these clouds? Looks like it's gonna rain. I don't know.
We didn't have any propane.
You were overcooking the burgers.
No, we didn't have any propane.
We're allowed to be here.
And then somebody brought a charcoal grill over, and we couldn't get the charcoal to light, so we had to go dump lighter fluid on it. Well, that didn't make them taste great. So listen, we got off to a little rocky start.
Every shot Rory hits, Solly's in the slack. Oh, he's playing way too close to the water there. Oh, he needs to make that one. I can't believe you missed that one. It's just you're bringing down the whole mood.
It's not true.
It's
not. Listen.
And then, Deej,
I want a word here.
No, we got Tron on Twitter trying to incite violence. He's sending out misinformation saying that there's a riot going on at the block party.
That was a doctored video that he sent out.
Yeah, that was from last year's. That was last year's footage. Things got out of hand last year. All right.
Listen, there's a certain look that Rory has. I call it like his hopeful look, like when he watches a ball in the air, just like hoping something really good happens. And it's very different from like his alpha golf look. And as of like the fourth hole today,
which one is this that we're seeing on screen?
That's the look right there. That's just like by the fourth hole today. I was like, dude, that's not alpha Rory. Like this is behind the 8-ball Rory. Like think back to last Sunday or Sunday of last year's Masters. Like that was sprinting through the finish line Rory. And that's like kind of my thing. Why I get so like watered down leading into these things is like, dude, how can you like wait another year for this and possibly come out with anything less than How can you come out with the same energy level? You can't. Like he talks about that all the time. I'd love to play that free. And like, dude, that's just not how last tee time of the day or second to last tee time, whatever he was. That's just not how it works. Like it's just not. And
that was a
letdown of a day. Like I'm not gonna let you get away with that. This is a letdown of a day, big time. Even par. His winning percentage dropped greatly today. His odds have dropped greatly today. This was not a good day. This golf course was there for him. And I'm a little heartbroken by it. I'm here for the emotional part.
But I feel like I'm going to rebuttal there. That look is in between the old mopey Rory. Like that's like that was making room for wow Rory there, Deej. Just kind of like, what happened there? It wasn't getting down on myself, Rory. And he was squirrely on the front nine off the tee. And then I feel like he found something on the back. And he was, I mean, he had some really good play on the back nine.
Needed a good drive on 17.
17 was brutal. That was such a buzzkill, but like some good golf there. The like 3-4 holes preceding that. 13 also a buzzkill. We can't do that on the par fives. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Do you feel good about going into the mutter situation here with Rory? I know soft and wet's good, but like are muddy conditions, are rainy conditions and raincoats good for Rory? I don't know the answer to that, but do you guys feel good about it?
I think they are. Yes. I think that in some ways, I kind of want this to be the way it happens. Rory coming back from 7, instead of going racing out in front, it's like, no, man, like let's get something historic here.
No, I'll just take it anyway.
I'll take it any way it comes, man. All right.
We get this every year.
I am not bailing on my guy yet.
That's true. What a treat it's going to be to watch him come from behind for once. That's going to be awesome. No, I saw you said it earlier and you alluded to it in the question. Like, I don't think we can overstate how like rare of a Masters this is going to be. Like, I think this is going to be extremely unique Masters. And so I know there's a ton of stats about you got to be in the top 10 and you can't be this far back and blah, 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 blah. I think it's going to be like 46 and rainy and windy is like fairly unprecedented stuff, or at least we haven't seen it for, a decade. So it's the kind of thing
weird stuff. This is where weird stuff could happen. So that's why I'm not totally out of hope yet. But yes, was this how we wanted the block party to get started? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. But we'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be
ponchos
there.
Out.
Yep.
If all else, Rory could carry the cat between shots. Maybe just
hold on. Actually, I sent Cody. I sent you a couple pictures. We had the picture of what it looked like today. I'll let him get it up. And listen. Everybody was sitting down. That's the problem, right? Yeah. We had too many kids there. Some people brought some bongos, but it wasn't really like because the grill wasn't working properly. Everybody was kind of, at least the butcher came by with the charcuterie plate.
Yeah, he came by with a nice C plate after he got off work.
So that was good.
And a busy day for him too. We haven't really even talked about it that much, but
so we kind of made do. But I want people on their feet tomorrow, and the crowds to get a little bit more revved up. So that's what we're looking for tomorrow.
Is it safe to say that we are 1/16 of the way to John Rahm winning the Grand Slam?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't hate that. I think KVV. I think you got to jump. Someone
I got to jump. Make sure you're talking
Commissioner
about
needs your room.
Young Hove. I mean, I feel like Young Hove had a really great round today. Had a lot of good comments about the chipping, so I think that'll be a good topic for you guys to bounce to next. But I'll be out to pound out this Phil article, and we'll hopefully have it up this evening. So. Well, I'll be out tomorrow. If you got any suggestions about how I should spend my day tomorrow, drop them in on me because it's such a playground out here. There's so much fun, so many things to see. It's
room for activities out there.
Last thing for you, KVV. What was food situation? Breakfast, lunch. What'd you go with?
I had a breakfast burrito here for lunch.
I think it's National Burrito Day. I saw.
I didn't love it. I got to say, it was not. They need to bring in some real. People who know how to make burritos.
There goes your chance at the lottery, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One day they're gonna really take care of it.
I did have a chicken salad sandwich at one point during the day when I was walking around, but that was it. I was it was a run and go kind of day.
All right, buddy. We'll let you bounce. Thank you for popping in here. Back to Rahm. spots the field 2 shots by 4-putting the first green, then goes on to birdie 2, birdie 3, birdie 7, eagle 8, birdie on 13, birdie on 15, birdie on 16, birdie on 18 to wrap the day at 7 under par. Losing strokes putting to the field, 7 under 65. John Rahm.
Did you hear his comments after the round? It honestly almost it reminded me weirdly of you, Neil. We're just like, yeah, tell me about that 4-putt. I mean, I hit good putts. That was
no. He quoted.
I don't know what to do differently.
Like, how did that happen? Well, I missed the first one. I missed the second one. I missed the third one. I made the fourth one. It happens.
I rolled it. I rolled it how I was trying. Just missed.
It looks like a force to be dealt with. It looked like the Rahm from the West Coast swing. I kind of had cooled on him naturally after Florida was some driver issues, but man, that looked like the dude again. And yeah, very well positioned, obviously. All right, let's get to Hovland. The shirt, obviously, first. What are we voting on the shirt?
Obviously.
Oof levels were high.
I'm in on the shirt. You can come at me if you want. I think it's sweet.
I think, Deej, I'm appreciate that they went with the so bad it's good route. Like normally it's 5th grade picture day.
Yeah.
Which is
it gets worse for Hovland this week, just to warn you.
Yeah, and this was a avant-garde. This was outside of picture day. So I'll give him credit for that.
This is a photographer's nightmare, candidly. This shirt. I can't believe you're rolling in with this thing. How am I supposed to
Well, think about this. Think about how the stones it takes to go out, shoot 7 under the first time you've ever played with the cat at Augusta, and you're wearing this fucking shirt. Like,
it was the biggest layup for one of my favorite tweets ever. I wish I wasn't wearing this fucking shirt. I couldn't believe that no one had gotten that one today. I've been using that one for 7 years. I thought it was a layup.
God, it's what's interesting about shirts like this is it a bit harkens back to the like shirts from the early 90s and stuff like that, which I'm sure is kind of the intention. But it's almost done with like a wink, right? Like it's almost like you're saying it's a little self-aware, a little ironic. I don't think those shirts ever were they? Like I think those shirts were always just like, dude, this is fucking sick. And that's a weird disconnect I was thinking about today.
I appreciate it. At least they pushed the envelope. Like it was something to talk about. I didn't like the shades of red and green. They were, they were kind of hurting my eyes a little bit. But Solly, I'm with you. I think they kind of are going to tone it down a little, and it's going to get worse with Lindbergh, and that's what I'm concerned about.
With like all things with Hovland's fashion, it's going to get worse before it gets better, right?
I actually thought Morikawa's shirt was worse. I thought like just awful oranges, like tonal oranges, flowers. Take it away. No, thank you.
I think all these guys are very lucky that it's going to be a rain gear weekend. So you can just cover it all up.
The pullovers will save them.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking about the top of the leaderboard here, I'd like to introduce a new segment here. That's Solly Sustainability Corner, right? As we go check in on sustainable business models to see whose style of play.
It's Green Week.
Whose style of play is going to last through the week? Who do you think, without looking at any numbers here, who do you think?
What the hell is this? Truly, what the fuck is this? This is sick. I love KPIs and best practices. Talk to me, Sal.
We're checking it on the sustainability model here. I'll just quiz you guys. Who do you think's numbers are going to check out for sustainability, and who's going to say that? I don't know if that's lasting.
I think that we talked about Cam Young, but I think another underrated story is Jason Day. He kind of came in as a favorite dark horse of a lot of people. A lot of chatter about Jason Day. He's been playing well. It would have been very easy for him to lay an egg. And I think his game also sets up well for the weather. I think he hits it high, he hits it straight. He seems like a mechanic when we talk about artist versus mechanic. And I think the mechanic is going to do well in tough conditions, trying to keep the ball, just keep it in the fairway. And he's a great lag putter. He can make a ton of pars. I like him being T3?
He's T4 right now at 5 under par. Yeah.
I think the answer to your question is probably Cam Young. Looked probably pretty effortless, right? And the distance is going to help. The tee to green stuff is going to help. And he probably putted, average or just below average like he usually does. I think Rahm is my, most sustainable at the top of the leaderboard because he's John Rahm. And I think Scotty is like, I know he's 4 back, but I think Scotty is like almost one of those like phantom leaders right now, right? Where it's just like he burns so many lips, he hit it so well. He's the defending champ. He's the number one player in the world. Like he's obviously only going to keep rising.
Second worst in putting today, Scotty Scheffler. He lost 3.5 strokes on the green.
He didn't play good, and he's in the top 10.
He played great.
Crazy.
He played great. That's the really frustrating part.
He didn't putt well.
He did not.
Yeah,
putt
I guess
well.
that's what I mean. But it looked like he was. It looked like he was having a tough day, and he's still just. He's loitering for sure. I feel like Hovland. I'm not sold. I think he's lingering. I think he may take some steps backwards.
We're gonna get there here. Rahm gained 7.98 strokes tee to green today. Scheffler 7.88. It was an insane ball striking round for Scotty, but he just could not make a fucking putt. Afterwards, he was saying like, "Dude, it didn't feel like I putted that bad. I burned a lot of edges. Like it doesn't feel like he has a mental block or something going on with the greens right now," which is probably a good sign, right? It's not like he's searching for something right now.
He got a little, not chippy, but took a little exception with
like it.
He spent a lot of time on the putting green. He's like, no, I didn't. It's a normal routine. Find a new slant, dude.
That's that's probably because KVV was beating him up about that at the Players. Like, oh, you were hitting all kinds of balls. They said so on TV. He's like, no, I wasn't. I hit like 10 balls for 5 minutes.
Bullshit.
I think he might be a little like, where are you guys getting this shit from? Like, why are you guys looking at me all the time now? I hate this.
And Victor Hovland, with his 7 under par round, led the field today in strokes gained putting. So he made some bombs. So sustainability models are not loving him at the moment. Brooks Koepka also hit the shit out of it. He gained over 5. He led the field in strokes gained approach today. That is something worth keeping an eye on. And he putted really well. Didn't really hit it that well off the tee or around the green to get 7 under out of that day. So
and he bogeyed 13.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like we've got a lot of
we need to mention just I don't know when else he's going to get in, and the weather's going to be shitty, and he's already 4 under. Shane Lowry is a guy that like I think we've picked to play well here in years past. I think he has played well here in years past. Obviously won a major before. Played a very, very, very nice round of golf today, and the conditions are going to get shitty. Like, how is that not a guy that's going to be around this weekend?
That was my dude last year. We actually were in Scotland and we were able to do Ladbrokes and all that stuff. And I placed the wagers and I picked him DraftKings because he was playing such good golf leading in, and I was ready to go with him again this year. He's been playing terrible. He's been playing awful golf leading up into this, and I was surprised to see him kind of bounce back with that round today. But
this place kind of just does it to people. They tend to find it here. It's wild.
It is basically nothing but mechanics. What's the AT&T commercial? What's Salas's dad's name?
Ramon.
It's just a leaderboard of Ramon's straight
mechanics
down. I
mean,
mean,
the golf course.
I mean, maybe not Hovland, but Rahm, Koepka, Young, Day, Lowry, Schauffele, I would say are all mechanics first artists. What would you agree with that?
I think Rahm might have a little more artistry than he probably gets credit for.
Man, I feel like he's a machine. Like, it's just.
I think he has all the flights. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of why he's so good and why he hits it hole high everywhere. It's just he knows exactly how to control his flight really well.
Why don't we check in on how things stand after round one? This segment's brought to you by our friends, our partners, the DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings offers nearly endless ways to get in on all the golf betting action. Be sure to check them out and get some skin in the game. Looking in at the odds sheet after round one, I love following this stuff day to day, week to week, shot to shot. Even Cam Young, I think, was plus 2,800 leading up into the tournament, and birdied the first 3 holes, and I think he was plus 1,100 at that point. So we got Jon Rahm at plus 320 to win, Scotty Scheffler plus 450, Brooks Koepka plus 650, Victor Hovland at plus 990, Jordan Spieth, this is small font, I don't know if I can see all this on there we go, plus 1,600, Cameron Young plus 1,600, Finau 1,800, Xander plus 2,000, and Rory all the way at plus 2,000. What jumps out to you guys out of all that?
I mean, I just got done saying it, but I know he hasn't been playing well. But Shane, like, you didn't even get down there. But Shane Lowry plus 3,500,
plus 3,500 to win.
I think Cameron Young like goes out and balls out, and still not really getting the respect. Doesn't have the history, right? A guy like Brooks has been in the wilderness, and he's getting a lot more respect. Hovland not getting a ton of respect with the odds. So looks like I would say the odds on Cam Young are really good.
I think Cam Young looks nice, but I'm not veering from my pick. I'm still sticking with Scotty. I
Well, which pick, Solly? Is it Rahm to win all 4 majors, or is it Scotty, or I can't keep
or Rory?
Up now.
You're a huge Rory guy.
Or Rory. You're at the block party. You're hanging out with us there. Like which?
Do you want me to clarify, or do you want to keep misrepresenting, or do you want me to clarify?
Oh, please.
Solly's got 5 cell phones on him at the block party in case someone else calls, gets a better offer to go hang out with someone else.
I got roasted for bringing up the question of could Jon Rahm win the Grand Slam? Didn't pick him to win it, but I thought that was very interesting. Set the over under for him at 1.5 majors for this year. But in the weeks leading up to this, Scotty,
if you're backing away from that, that's fine. You just need to say that now before he goes and wins this week. And then you're like, I fucking told you guys. I told you he was going to win the Grand Slam.
I'm never going to say I told you he was going to win the Grand Slam. All I'm saying is, like, isn't that a possibility? And I got laughed at. Y'all laughed at me.
And you know what? You're right. We're 1/16 of the way through, and it is still very much a possibility.
Solly's he's at the block party. He's like, burgers? You guys serious?
You guys got anything else? Or
I mean, you didn't bring in Beyond Meats or anything like that? Like, what's the deal?
Cody, I assume this photo is Solly housing many different phones. Is that what we're looking at?
This is the best that I could find on short notice.
Yeah, okay.
But this is what he's rocking.
And it looks like he's got no sleeves on, which is
of course
fitting for his McAfee appearance.
Exactly.
Anyways, clarifying, Scotty was clearly my pick going into it because he was playing outrageously good golf. But my heart is with Rory. That's not that difficult to my head. Scotty, heart with Rory. Like, come on.
Where's your body?
Spieth.
I picked JT not to win, and I thought JT had a really, really solid round of golf. He's down there at
200
plus 2,500, and he got off to it was a very patient round of golf from JT, and he kind of built, and he finished strong, and I thought that was better than we've seen from him at Augusta, and I've been critical of him this week, so I wanted to call that out.
Yeah, that was a nice round of golf. And tied with Cam Smith down there at 200, I believe, right? Which was interesting. He was maybe the definition of what we were talking about with Woody earlier, of just like, man, I don't know who this guy is. He's been playing on some other tour. I have no idea what's going on. I just heard the whispers. It was really fun. And shout out to the Masters digital experience to be able to go through and just like literally watch every shot of his round. And, you know, he putted, I think, kind of well on the hole, but missed a couple short opportunities for some birdies and a couple, you know, short par looks and stuff. And
he made a bomb on 18 too, which was a good finish for him.
Kind of one of those rounds, like could have gone either direction, right? Like a couple bad misses, really bad miss on 10, a couple squirrely ones. It could have been much better, could have been much worse kind of around. So typically, like, you know, it's kind of, I guess, what you expect from him, but you don't really know what you're going to get in the weather and the weird conditions and stuff. So continuing to monitor the Cam Smith situation.
Jordan Spieth situation. 3 under par, 69. I feel simultaneously great and simultaneously horrible about it.
It's well said.
Sustainability models hate him right now. I mean, I know he's kind of penalized heavily for the shot into the water on 11 and other ones in the water on 13.
Look at this picture is so good.
It's amazing.
I mean, just Greller ready with the reload. I don't know. That was vintage. Not really vintage at the Masters, but kind of like recency bias, vintage Spieth of just like, man, we are all over the park, and he ekes out a 3 under. Like, that's just world-class scrambling. It's TC's. He's the best bad golfer of all time. It's unbelievable.
And Cody just put this image up on the screen, but of the press conference the other day where Jordan's talking about 13, and you know, he says in here, hey, if I'm, you know, more than 210 front, let's not even try it. And this is exactly what we were talking about on the happy hour last night. Was like, everybody said that coming in. Dustin Johnson said he was going to lay up all 4 days. All these guys say, and then all of a sudden it's like, what's number 225? I mean, come on, I get that. Come on, I can hit that. And Spieth is in the fucking pine straw with what, 220, something like that.
225, I think, something like that.
And just couldn't have hit more in the middle of the creek. Not even close. A little wipey out to the right. And it's just that's, you know, we touched on it briefly with John, but like that's the good stuff on 13, right? Is like, it's almost psychological warfare now at this point.
Yeah, it's right. They brought it back right to that questionable zone. It's a gray area for sure. And I'm very happy with the that being a big time decision heading into the weekend.
I very much enjoyed how it played today. There were a lot of really good shots off hanging lies. There was really good. Phil hit like a hybrid of some sort, into that green. That was great. Max had a really good shot. off the hanging lie. Sam Bennett hit a wood of some kind that landed and rolled right through, but it just felt like it brought the elements right back into it. We talked about it some last night about how it's still a different hole than like old school technology from the up tee, just because there's not that element of like playing close to the creek and something like that. It's just like, dude, just hit a driver straight and maybe you'll have a chance of going for it. It's kind of dumbed it down still, but at the same time, it's better than modern technology from the up tee, because that was just like 7s and 8 irons in. And now it is totally different. Rory had 195 in, couldn't make birdie for it. It's just, again, adding to the disappointment of wasted.
But I like it because they have these long irons in now. It's a harder shot. And even if you clear the creek, it's not a guaranteed birdie. Like those back bunkers blow, man. Like you don't, or you have like 100-foot lag putt, like Sam Burns 3-putted because he clears the creek and then he struggled on honestly like a 5-footer for par. He almost 4-putted 13. So I like seeing these guys tested.
I think Rahm got away with one there too. He had a bit of a one-arm finish, kind of hanging lie. I think he smothered it a little bit and hit a like low hot one that got caught by that back bunker, but that could have just as easily flown 10 shorter and found the creek too.
Hey, Solly, can we I'm jonesing for some lingering loitering.
Hell yeah.
You've been mixing it in as we go. I still don't know which one is which.
Sorry.
I don't understand this game.
Okay, so the way it works is lingering is like they're not a threat. They're just hanging around the convenience store.
No need to get the authorities involved.
Yeah, but if they're loitering, it's like the guy behind the cat, like, man, he might do something. Like I don't feel comfortable. This guy is a threat, and we need to make a decision here about what we're gonna do. We're either gonna get the baseball bat out and do something ourselves to get him away from the cash register, or we're gonna have to call the authorities. So that's the game. Is he lingering or loitering? And let's just start. We'll start at the top of the leaderboard. Is Victor Hovland lingering or loitering?
Lingering.
I'm going to have to say lingering until, he has no criminal record whatsoever. We have no reason to assume that he's going to keep this up for 3 more days. He usually kind of gets in, maybe buys a candy bar and a Mountain Dew, and then he's on his way. So
he's putting from everywhere. He's
yeah. He was too fast to go to the putter off the green.
He doesn't have a weapon with him. It's just his hands.
The next guy is the most loitering I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
John Rahm.
Yeah, he's got some very bad
he's sitting in the car. The music is super, super loud. You can tell he just called some of his buddies. There's probably some other people coming down. It's he's gonna be there for a while. He is,
and I'd say Koepka's the same way. Koepka's like, oh man, he hadn't been around in a while, but I remember this guy. He was a problem.
But that's the thing, is the last couple times he's come around, we've run him off pretty easily. We haven't really. He's been a lot of bark, not a lot of bite over the last couple of years. I know it's, some of that's injury, some of that's criminal record. Maybe he doesn't want to risk it. But I think he's right on the edge for me.
DJ, you missed a layup. Rahm has a signature knife that he uses. it's his trademark.
Carries it around everywhere. He's got the whole
big Bowie knife. It's like Crocodile Dundee shit.
I don't know what I do with Brooks. I truly could see it going either way. This is not a live joke, a 54-hole joke. I do need to see more than one round out of him before I have faith that he'll stick around.
I think he's probably the player I'm most excited to watch over the next couple days, right? Just because truly don't know how it's going to go. And I think he's the guy that I think it's fun to kind of talk shit. Like, oh God, he doesn't care. He's so aloof. He just, he treats everybody like shit, blah, 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 blah. And you kind of want him to just step up and put it back in your face, right? Like that's what made him so fun for so long. And that's why today it's just like, oh my God, hats off, man. Advantage Brooks here. That is awesome. What a fucking round of golf.
I feel like he's a bit of a microwave man too, Solly. So that's why I would say he's definitely loitering for me. Like when he gets it going, it's like he gets, oh, I'm the fucking man. You can't stop me. And then when that's not there, it's not there for a while.
But right? It hasn't been there for a while. It's been
a
long time
since. It feels like once 2019. It feels like it's I don't know, contagious. A little if he's got it, he's got it. Right? It's not a fleeting thing.
I think
it's been majors last year. He kind of made some appearances, and it was like, oh, dude, how did we forget about Brooks? We did it again, and then he really did eject from him. So
he was still very hurt though.
That's true.
Recovering. I think the one person of all the live guys who uses this, and it's said time and time again of take the littlest motivating factor, and without having his game completely there, can just use that to propel him to whatever it is, it's Brooks. He's clearly playing pretty good golf. You can say whatever you want about the crooked cat or whatever it's called. Like, he seems like he's hitting the ball pretty good.
I'm with you, Cody. I think it looked
approach play
very
was sick.
it looked very real today, very sustainable, very easy.
I think what's so awesome about it, though, from a viewer's perspective, is that go watch that Full Swing episode. Like, those thoughts are still in there, dormant. You don't just banish the maybe I just am not the same guy I used to be thoughts, right? Like, maybe you keep pushing them down and tamping them down and tamping them down, but they're still in there somewhere. And that is over the next 54 holes, shit weather, awesome leaderboard. I cannot wait. I legitimately hope he does it. I hope he does come back and win another one, because it's awesome, man. You root for history, and 5 majors is cooler than 4 majors. And I'm legitimately rooting to see it. I think it'd be phenomenal.
5 majors is so many. And
so many.
How sick is it? Think about I forget who even won the Masters last year. Who won the Masters last year? Oh, Scotty Scheffler. That's right.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was literally a year ago that he was trying to pull that off, and here he is back in the mix. So today was loitering, right? I just don't know what we're going to get going forward. But that was not fake today. That was not band-aided together. That was really, really good shit.
For sure. The second time that he's loitered this week, because he did it on Sunday when he was checking in for that number 69. So maybe this is just his week.
I was going to say, if you think Brooks was not standing around that cart waiting until number 68 to check
it out. I got it, man.
Guys, I think Cam Young is Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, Cody, you need to call the police right now.
Just get Cam Young somebody, but nobody what's this guy all about? He looks he looks fine, and he just walks in and he's got the air pressure thing, and he's putting it right between your eyes.
Yeah, you also didn't have an electric personality. That dude.
Yeah. Somebody said earlier, it looks like one of the farmhands from the Dutton farm on Yellowstone, which is perfect. We're going to take you to the train tracks, man. You want to go down to the station? I'll fucking do it.
Real quick on Koepka, just to list off modern day 4-time major winners are Bobby Locke, Raymond Floyd, Ernie Els, Rory, and Koepka. And modern day 5-time major winners, Byron Nelson is pre-World War II, but Peter Thompson and Seve. Those are the only 2 modern day 5-time major winners. Obviously, there's Phil with 6 and Faldo with 6, Trevino with 6, but that's freaking outrageous company.
God, it's good to have some villains back too, man. It spices it up. Instead of everybody being buddies, just throwing a bully in there. I'm all. It's good for the viewer, good for the drama. I'm not rooting for Brooks, but I'm happy he's involved.
Well, on that note, what's the best mano a mano matchup on this?
I would love to see Rahm Koepka.
Yeah.
God, that is Marvel movie shit, right? That's good stuff right there. It's like Gangs of New York. It's the Butcher versus the guy, the sheriff. You remember the sheriff with the wooden club, and he that's Brooks, man.
What if it truly was like the episode of Full Swing with Brooks and Scotty at the end, and Brooks is just I don't understand it, man. How's he so good?
I was gonna say, dude, even right now, sleeping on Scheffler a little bit. I think we're, we could be the Rahm Scheffler duel that we kind of were hoping for leading into this. Could definitely be taking shape. Can we talk the Morikawa incident today?
Hold on, but I want to push back on that, because I think the more for me, the more entertaining duel would be Rahm Koepka, than Scheffler Rahm, or I guess Scheffler. I kind of like having Koepka as the yin and yang there. Having this, whether it's you want to call it the
3-headed monster is the dream, the dream scenario. Rahm, Scheffler, and Koepka coming down the stretch is I think as good as it can get.
I kind of had Cam Smith pegged as that guy, but Koepka that's a fine replacement for me of just, yes, man, give me somebody that's he's coming to wreck the party.
Yeah, I think Brooks is more interesting, and a lot of that is Full Swing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I think Cam is an unbelievable player who I love watching play golf, but I don't think you're not getting all the other stuff with Cam. I think he plays golf and he hangs out and fishes and drinks coffee and kind of gets along with everybody.
Do you guys know anywhere where I can place a bet for Xander Schauffele to finish exactly T4? Not solo fourth, not tie fit. He's going to finish in a tie for 4th place at the end of the week. I could not be more confident in that. But Morikawa is involved in this. He is 3 under par. He is a 2-time major winner. We probably don't talk about him enough coming into major championships, and we tend not to. But video was surfacing on there that was heavily laced in language, and it got me. I got to admit, saying that pretty sure Morikawa just cheated. There's a clip of him. The only part the clip showed was him picking up his ball, moving it closer to the hole, then putting his mark behind it, and then picking the ball up. It basically just looked like he moved his ball 6 inches closer to the hole. I saw the clip and I was like, what the hell, dude? What just happened? What's possibly the explanation? Went back and watched it on the incredible Masters.com feed, which is so sick. As soon as you guys start talking about a shot today, I can click on a player's name and be like, oh yeah, I missed that shot. I'm going to go back and watch it. It's fucking incredible. Go back to watch this, and he lines up to hit a putt, and his ball starts rolling backwards. So he stands up. Everyone's watching him like he's ready to hit the shot. He's not doing it sneakily. The ball rolls 6 inches backwards or whatnot. He says to the group, like, the ball just moved. So he picks it up and moves it back to the original spot. So a lot of people talking about that, but just want to clarify that is exactly what happened with that. And the video evidence checks out.
Solly got.
A little bit. I think we all got a little bit.
Got. I mean, yeah, the video online looked a little sketchy, but out of context.
It was also so fucking outrageous that it's like, okay,
yeah.
I think he's played golf for a long time. Like, there's got to be a little more to it than this.
Yeah.
I'm not jumping on the grenade right away here.
Will Zalatoris WD before the round. Unfortunate. Hate seeing
tough
that.
for your models, Solly. I know he was tough. A big, along with Rahm winning the Grand Slam, being at the block party, and Scheffler. I know you were big on Willie Z.
I had a small
and Mr. Nicholas. I think you played some bet on Mr. Nicholas this week too,
as well as Cam Champ. Don't forget that.
And yes, of course.
What did I place on Cam Champ? I threw a little nugget.
You were throwing a little cover, a little cover fire over there of just he's T12. Well, watch out for him.
It didn't go well for Cam Champ this week. Kevin also didn't go well for Kevin Na. He did not look good. Looked like he was quite under the weather. He withdrew after 9 holes. Again, no word if he's sticking around for the celebration for Koepka's win on Sunday.
Can I say one thing about Morikawa before we move off that? I saw a shot that he hit during the Players when the conditions got really, really, really bad at the Players on Friday, I think last year. And it was like this really squirrely 3-wood out of like some wet rough. And I can't ever unsee that shot as far as just like how bad it was as soon as the conditions ramped up. And for that reason, I am out.
I'm out.
Going forward.
I was going to say the dome golfer is going to get vaporized.
Trod suggested that he should preemptively WD to save himself a lot of headache over the next couple of days. But I won't go that far. But I'm not buying. I'm selling. I think he's loitering. I think he's just here to get a Diet Coke and he's going to be moving on.
Guys, I need to ask Sam Bennett.
Lingering absolutely stunting on Gordon Sargent, if I may say.
Lingering or loitering?
Dude, bogey free. I mean, I don't know.
Lingering or loitering?
Dabo.
He is. God, I'm not going to be able to unsee that either. That's a bit like the Morikawa 3-wood I was talking about. Step it up, dude, in your Masters debut, playing with the #1 player in the world, defending champion, and just going out and making 12 straight pars to finish and shooting 68 and tying Scotty Scheffler. I mean, that's incredible stuff. I mean, I if you're going to press me to sound like a jerk, Neil, like, am I buying or selling? Like,
lingering.
Probably not buying, but unbelievable round that deserves an immense amount of praise.
I don't know, man. I might be buying. I feel like that was sustainable golf. I mean, dream scenario for him, and unfortunately, it probably sets up for a vaporization niche. But I got to give him a ton of credit, man. That was a really good round of golf. They showed a lot of his golf shots. I wish he'd pull the trigger a little quicker.
Sure.
When he steps up to the ball, there's a little bit too much regripping and stuff going on over the ball. But I like his move, and just got some stones.
Before you finish the take, I was going to try to bail you out, but just a reminder of what's coming with weather. And it's going to be a whole different ball game to hold that together. I got to say, I got a good thrill out of watching him walk off the 18th green with a huge ass smile on his face of like, it's kind of like a dude, whatever happens going forward. Yeah, this is a picture of him walking off the 18th green actually right now. Whatever happens going forward, he'll have that memory forever. He shot 68 in the opening round of the Masters playing with Scotty Scheffler. That was sweet. So,
well, let me put it this way. I don't think this is going to be his last Masters. That's kind of what I'm saying with buying. Like, am I buying him to win this tournament? Absolutely not. But am I buying him of like, yo, I think this guy's going to be around for the next 5, 10, 15 years? I do. I think he looks like he's got a lot of game and he's not scared. And that's cool to see from an amateur.
Sam Burns shot 4 under today as well. Justin Rose 3 under. Big Tone 3, sneaky little 3 under par there. Not a lot of people talking about that. So
Justin Rose is the ultimate, like, if you're doing one of those Masters pools with like Group A, Group B, like, I hope everybody hammered Justin Rose.
Yeah. Scott Stallings absolutely stunted on Watson. Watson had predicted for an 84. He shot 70 today. So
God, that was awesome.
Mr. Watson getting back down.
So
I guess we can't. What should we call the IBM? It can't be Mr. Watson because Tom Watson's hitting the ceremonial tee shot now. Is it like?
I don't think maybe it's
Dr.
Mrs.
Watson.
I don't know if we can assume it's a male. Why would you assume it's a male?
Doctor would be a good way to put it then.
Dr. Watson, Professor Watson,
Professor Watson potentially.
Was the Sherlock Holmes guy Professor?
I think he was a doctor.
His partner though. Elementary Watson. We'll have to look into that.
Well, I think the IBM named Watson after Sherlock Holmes' partner. And I think it was Dr. Watson. I believe that's where it came from.
All right, we'll look into that.
Curveball thrown to us by ESPN today. Did not expect to see this coming. If you flash back to the waste management, Rory was asked about the players being mic'd up, and he's like, "Yeah, it might take some convincing for me." And Rory just said, "All right, I'll do it at the fucking Masters, I guess." Walking up the 9th hole, Rory got mic'd up and talked about his round, and I did like where his headspace was at, just saying like, "Yeah, it's a tough start, but a lot of golf left." And I was like, "Okay, you're right. Don't overreact." Like, I felt like that was guided directly at me, but. Man, was not expecting a walk and talk with Rory coming up the 9th fairway at Augusta National, and then up the 14th hole with Max Homa. Just another added layer to golf coverage for the best golf coverage that we see all year.
And I don't think it's causation correlation. I think the second 9 is just easier. But they both seem to kind of settle down and actually like play a little bit better afterwards.
I think it probably helped a little bit with Rory specifically, like get him out of his own head a little bit. Almost reminds me of when he started to have to, do press conferences and just always be on the mic. It seems like he plays better when he's, almost outside of himself, talking to the world. And so that was awesome.
It was one of the few times I've been like, "Yo, no, don't do this. Don't do the entertainment thing. Just focus on your golf." Like,
I loved it, man. Week, I loved hearing. I don't know. I loved hearing like breaking down like legitimate shots in the Masters as they're hitting them. I'm like, oh my god, that is like heroin. Give me all that. You didn't feel the same way?
Oh, I did. Yeah. I'm just like for Rory's sake of like trying to win the Masters. I was just like, dude, no, bro.
I had a buddy, Andrew Chapman, who tweeted something that just like really made me laugh. That the whole time I felt like I was looking around, like, are we allowed to do this? Like, are we gonna get in trouble here? Like, is somebody's gonna be? Somebody's not supposed to be doing this.
If Koepka's caddy and Woodland's caddy are allowed to do what they're allowed to do in 15 fairway, then apparently anything's allowed.
When do you think? I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. It hasn't happened yet. Someone been mic'd up and they've had an awful hole.
I don't think it's happened.
It hasn't happened. So. It's going to happen at some point.
For sure.
It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to be a situation, and that's compelling.
If we're going to be a little fair and balanced, we got to get better audio, man. If we're going to have a camera that close to Rory, like, why don't you just like boom mic him? Like, yeah. I know they're trying to do the big like 360 camera swing, and maybe they're doing that for a reason, but I don't know. Like you watch, like, I know it's different because they're putting like a lav mic on the players, but like you watch Sunday Night Baseball and it sounds like they're on one of these microphones during the fucking game.
Yeah.
And these are like, it sounds like it's literally just like patching a cell phone call into the booth, and you're missing a lot. So that would be my only.
I mean, we have wireless clip-on lav mics. It's not a difficult thing to find out. But I would say this, first time I think I've seen it this year where somebody hit a shot in competition still with the piece in Max's putt. What do you guys think?
That was the CBS ones. They have been that way. The NBC ones have been where they take it out, but all the CBS ones, they've kept them in through the golf shots.
I think that's the best part. I would like to make that standardized. That's the best part of the whole thing. Is as long as they're not being distracted by it, I think it's awesome.
Just a little detail of Max being like, "Oh, I think that's I'm not going to aim point this, but that's probably 6 or 7% right there." And just like, dude, but one of the top 5 players in the world going to his caddy, like, is it downhill the whole way? I was just like, dude, like it blows my mind. I know he like can really trust Joe Griner, and Joe's an incredible player, an incredible caddy, but it still blows my mind that you have to bounce something like that off of a caddy. That was some great insight that like wasn't even, the walk and talk parts are fine, but like the little stuff of just them talking is what really elevates it for me. Great eagle for Max. We know 15,
this.
Some crystal.
Yeah, we know this editing like our videos and stuff. Sometimes you're just talking to yourself.
True.
You're just like, oh yeah, but just mumbling crap that means nothing. Yes.
Saying some horrible things to yourself.
Yeah, and when you go back and like we have to review the footage, you're like, what is this guy doing?
Going to the bathroom. The 2025 Nest gift is going to be a custom CD of all of Neil's self-talk from all the things that we've shot.
Fucking dinky stink. You don't deserve to play the game. Fucking trash.
I got to give a shout out for Scott. If you guys were looking for shots, maybe I know we didn't really organize this. If you guys have anything that comes to mind, but for the listeners' sake, for if you want to go to your Masters.com app or your Masters app to go find some shots that are worth watching, I would say Scotty Scheffler's pitch from behind the 15th green for eagle. He's pitching off an upslope, but landing it on the downslope. Everything's sloping towards the water. Flies it well onto the green and holds the downslope with spin. Converted that into an easy birdie. That was a shot that sent some feelings through me. On the other end of the spectrum, Tom Kim going into the water from the bunker from right of the 15th green was also quite sick to show. That'll give you extra perspective onto how good Scotty Scheffler's shot was from behind 15. But
I think for me, we mentioned the driver off the deck on 8 that Phil hit his second shot. I would also, this is just a total curveball, but Neil, I think we both took great delight in Jordan's tee shot on 17 was one of the foremost cops balls I think we've ever seen in competition.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! He is chasing. He's trying to tase that thing on the way, and it did. It stopped resisting, which was cool to see. But I think the best one I saw all day was Spieth's tee shot on 5. Did you guys see that?
God.
I was watching on the feature group coverage. It was, among the worst we've ever seen.
I'm going to go ahead and fire that up now.
It was like the snipiest hook ever. Quick point, wayward drive point. Like, I don't know. I don't even know most of the time those guys just hit it in the bunker up there. I don't even know what's down there.
We'll see how good Cody is because I'm going to get him a screenshot here of this very shortly. They don't have it on the hole by hole. They don't have the shot tracer on it, but it did not go very far. It was not good. I want to talk about this guy, but didn't really give us much in memories today or much to kind of go off of. Bryson, just total dud performance, just 2 over par, doubled the first hole. He made an eagle. He made eagle 15 on the back 9, was it? To make his round look a lot prettier, but I just sad. I just want to see him involved. I want to see him in the mix.
I watched him play number 1. It was, as you guys probably saw, back flag, maybe, 3 paces off the back, and just a complete Icarito ball, like lands on the back fringe, bounces so far over the green to a spot where, they can't even like catch him with the TV tower. And I was like, yeah, I don't think he's got it. I think we're good. We're going to take him off the watch list, and I think we'll go follow some other people.
Yeah,
a lot of par. He clearly steadied the ship after that. Like made a lot of pars, but obviously, I'm not going to beat him up for the par 67 thing. I think I actually do know what he was saying, and I don't think he was like that far off. But he's got to be beating up those par 5s, and he's got to be doing a little better than that many boring pars.
Is Koepka successfully obfuscating the image of how poor the rest of the LIV guys did today? He's the only one in the top 15. I know there's a lot of golf left. A lot of golf
I'd
left.
say
a couple guys in that mid tier, right?
Sam Smith and Patrick Reed played pretty well.
Joaquin was 1 under. Dustin was 1 under. Gooch was even. I guess these are, when we're talking about from a Rory perspective, they were like catastrophes. But Abe Answer, Harold Varner,
DJ kind of laid an egg.
All at even. Hashtag Kokrak, 1 over.
Sergio Peters, Charles Bryson, Mito, all 74, T45, Louis.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just
I don't know what I was expecting from those guys though. Like I think the guys who you're expecting something from are Cam, DJ, Neiman.
Brooks,
Patrick Reed, and Brooks, of course.
Yeah.
Beyond that, are you really expecting much for? I mean, not to be.
No, but I mean, I don't know. Just worth noting.
Yeah,
I thought that was worth noting. Anything else you guys have?
I got to pace myself a little bit.
Yeah.
On the masters.com stuff. I had too many streams going. Couldn't focus on anything. I kind of, if you have 5 streams, do you have any situation?
What's your strategy?
I was really happy when the telecast came on, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
you take it,
clear the mechanism, and we're gonna just, you guys tell me what to watch. That helped me a lot.
I've seen behind the curtain. Once you see like the feature group stuff, I can't wait on the broadcast any longer. I mean, that
kind of messed me up too. Whereas like, I kind of want to watch it like with the rest of the world a little bit, but you're seeing it like 15 seconds later sometimes. So
I feel like the featured groups kind of mixing up, once they get multiple featured groups going into one stream, it's kind of feels like watching the broadcast.
Well, I'm saying I got to watch the feature group feed because the broadcast falls behind with commercials, and then the walk and talk set them back like 5 minutes, and it's I need to ride like the Spieth journey simultaneously. I cannot DVR the Spieth journey. I need to know second by second how all that goes. But dude, it was like one of the more enjoyable, fast-paced golf watching days I can remember. I mean, it really does feel that different to have all these dudes back together. My starred list on masters.com of dudes that I'm seriously tracking how they're doing in this tournament just somehow continues to grow. I'm a pig in shit this week. I absolutely love today. I hope we don't get too many delays because I'm bonging this golf tournament right now. Multiple bongs. I'm at the block party, just straight beer bonging this golf tournament.
That's good shit.
Funneling, whatever the kids say these days.
I think last thing for me, I'm not going to call it a successful round by any means. He is a top 5 player in the world now. We need Max to play better in majors, but I thought he showed a lot of grit, especially post being mic'd up to get that in the house at 1 under. I think old Max shoots 75, 74, something like that today. And to get it in at 71, I thought was very, very impressive. And I'm going to turn you guys' I'm not going to quite Ben Crenshaw, but I'll turn your memories back to that event at TPC Potomac when the weather just got absolutely horrible and Max was the fucking dude. And I think he's stayed extremely patient. He stayed in his process. He wasn't afraid or embarrassed to just bunt things out there at 55% with the driver. I mean, I think I think he'll hang mentally, whereas I think a lot of these other guys will fall off. So I'm buying Max. I think he's going to keep rising.
We did kind of forget to talk about Tiger Woods somehow, but
that's wild.
It is wild.
That is. I mean, I didn't like that shot from the bunker on 18. It doesn't look like he feels great.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a tough weekend for our dude.
I don't know if there's going to be a weekend.
Yeah. Or even tomorrow. I mean, if he doesn't get out of the golf course till Saturday, like I don't think I'm buying the cat any further. What do you, as a guy who very easily could have had his leg amputated, and again, I think today stuff like today just illustrates further how fucking insane it was how well he played last year.
It's insane.
Like
so silly.
And listen, if he hangs around and plays great, awesome. But I think this is very understandable golf for a guy that doesn't barely play any competitive golf and has a lot of physical limitations. And, this is anything better than this is going to be like the exception to the rule, which is totally fine.
Yeah. This makes more sense than last year does, really. I mean, this is kind of more of what I was expecting out of last year. But biggest disappointment of the day, I mean, just the straight up shit the bed. I mean, none of the big names totally shit the bed today, but look, seriously, of my starred names, Rory is second to last above Bryson.
I think it's Rory, no doubt. I don't think it's over, but I think he's far and away the biggest disappointment. I mean, today was the day to get it.
How far back?
I was saying after that birdie on 15, I was like, man, if we can get it to 2 under, we're looking good. And then that bogey on 17 was just really tough. I know I've said that already like 5 times, but that one hurt.
I'm gonna put how far back is too far back at 1 over just to keep Rory in it.
I was gonna say even.
You think is out? So you're saying Rory's out?
Wow.
Oh no. I meant
party's canceled.
I meant anything. If you're even par, like
we're at
you're
the same
still in
page.
this. Yeah. Okay.
+1. Yeah, I don't see anyone at +2 that I think can win this tournament.
I'm with you. You said it earlier. I think with this weather, it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
Like it might, I think people are going to, when you've been on a trip and it's pouring, it just sucks. And people just have bad attitudes. I don't think it's like, this isn't, it's going to get weird. And I'm here for it.
I know we always joke about the Rahm, he's working on his attitude stuff, but like that'll be a factor this week. Can you stay completely locked into the moment? I don't know that we've seen that from Hovland necessarily. I think Brooks, maybe not. It's a coin flip. I don't know what we're going to see from him as far as like attitude and grit and staying locked in or not. Cam Young is a question mark. Jason Day, I wish Tron was here. He could imagine what he would probably say about Jason Day and the conditions. I think Shane Lowry's going to hang around. Xander, I think I'll hang around. And I think Scotty will hang around.
Everybody's hanging around.
Other than that, it's kind of just like random kind of coin flips as far as like somebody who might catch lightning in a bottle or catch a good window or whatever.
I don't have a single memory of this guy for today. I'm trying to find what he shot today. Patrick Cantlay, what did he shoot?
I think even
26. Okay. Not quite it still, but I feel good about my two picks not to win. Randy's got a lot of irons in the fire. They could come back to bite him a little bit.
Cantlay was 1 under. Sorry.
1 under.
Yeah. Who was Randy didn't include Rahm in there, did he?
I think he did. Oh, he definitely did.
That was stupid.
Right? He had to have.
Probably.
Yeah, Randy's picks to not win were Rory, Xander, Rahm, Hovland, Cantlay, JT, Kim Smith, Bryson, Brooks, Fleetwood, Finau, and of course Ricky. Those were his picks not to win.
I mean, a bit of a
overall though,
weekend.
Guys, I mean, it is a really good leaderboard.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's a lot going on up there. I'm excited.
I don't know if this is accurate. Sam Ackerman is saying that IBM predicts Brooks 79 tomorrow at a 69% confidence rate. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's a funny.
Dr. Watson's going to lose her license.
Where do you find the Watson stuff? I don't see that when I go.
It was on there before the first round started. I don't know if they do it for every round. Cody?
Yeah, I can't find it now. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's still working. The AI is still churning it out for round 2, but TC, of course, sent us over the weather models. I don't know.
He's not supposed to be sharing these screenshots out of his proprietary app. He's gonna get kicked out of the club.
It looks pretty bleak, man. The wind
looks really bad.
Oh my God. Early wave has definitely an advantage.
So if you're not looking at this on the screen, basically up until 1 o'clock, almost no wind, probably some drizzle, about 70 degrees. After 1 o'clock, the wind picks up to 15, gusting up to 31. And temperatures by they'll finish about 7, drop down to 48.
Here comes the drizzle.
Like tomorrow afternoon is going to suck for these guys.
God, I am much wind.
Appointment viewing for me. Good stuff. I hope they get it in, man. That would be awesome.
Let's get into Saturday morning.
Saturday.
It's bad.
This is Saturday now?
Yeah.
Into Saturday morning. Yeah. I mean, it's by 1 o'clock Saturday morning. Half an inch of rain between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, something like that. Could be not fun. It could be like the not fun weather, right? Rain sucks.
But I think the thing is like when the leaderboard is this good, it's going to be fun no matter what happens.
Yeah, like if they can play,
which it doesn't look like it's going to rain like enough to stop play.
We just don't want lightning.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see any lightning emojis on there. This is not meteorological advice, but
it didn't see lightning storms at the Players last year, and they definitely couldn't play in that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Let them play. Solly, speaking of fun, did you have any fun today?
I had a little fun today. We went on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, kind of a last-minute invite. I thought it was like a 10-minute hit. It was like 40 minutes.
God, that was one giant line of cocaine, man. Those guys are just all energy.
I was out of breath watching.
Yeah. I was, very thrilled to talk to some fellow Mountaineers. I didn't go to West Virginia, but I'm a West Virginia fan. But Pac-Man being in there, Neil made me request that Pac-Man make a trap draw visit, and I did squeeze that in.
I mean, we've said that, no bullshit. We've said that for 6 years now. It's like God, the ultimate trap draw guest would be Pac-Man.
He was pretty. He kind of punch back on your live takes, and I wanted to say, Pac-Man, like they don't play real golf over there. Like that's Reggie's tour. Like you of all people should know. Like they're not playing real golf, man.
Today, Reggie. He was a big fan of the mules. He wanted the mules to get paid just for showing up at PGA Tour events. Which
was Pac-Man an NFL mule?
No, he was an NFL mercenary.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I could see him lining up with Liv pretty good.
And mercenaries get paid.
That's part about this picture you're seeing on screen, which is of my office watching the McAfee show on the TV. Is a million people zoomed in on my Slack channels. People loving the organization we got. Very curious what Inspiration Nation, what's in there, Deej. NLU bullshit. People trying to get added to the NLU bullshit thread. Cody, I'm sorry, that was not. I wasn't keeping my info spec tight there.
Thank you.
But I did make sure before I took that picture. I was like, no, there's nothing on here that I'm gonna regret. So. Got to be conscious of those screenshots.
I know. I was a little nervous when I saw that one, but I was afraid there was an
anti-Rory. I was aware.
An anti-Rory message from me. I was like, I said that in private, guys.
Ooh, good quote from Rory. You guys seeing this? Porter just tweeted this out. Question: who would be the player you would want to see? This is about the walk-in talks. Who would be the player you'd want to see most who hasn't done it yet? Rory McIlroy, Tiger. There's only one answer there. Follow-up question: what are the chances of that happening? Rory, 0. Absolutely not.
Saw a question coming in on the thread here. Thoughts on my TV there in that picture? Does that?
How many inches is it?
I'm not sure, but I think
length or width. What's your preference?
No, they measure the TVs by diagonals.
Exactly.
I didn't know that till recently.
I think this one's 50. TVs always show up small in pictures. I'll say that. But I did tell you guys, I feel like I should update the audience as well.
I forgot about this.
Good stuff.
This did not get the proper run.
So I moved houses this past week, and there's a moving crew that was moving us from one house to the other, and a bunch of nice gentlemen that were helping, but 2 of the guys really did not speak much English at all. And there's a bunch of stuff that's wrapped up. I'm kind of directing traffic in the garage. If somebody's coming off the truck, going to a different part of the house, and he's got something that he's carrying in a blanket. I don't know what it is. And I'm telling you, this dude did not speak more than 5 words of English. He understood upstairs and downstairs. He didn't say anything else in English all day. And I was like, oh yeah, what is that? And he's carrying it up. He goes, small TV.
No, I'm fine. Small TV.
It was my 42-inch TV that we were looking for a home for, and I was like, okay, maybe that is a really small TV.
God, that's good stuff.
All right, I think that's it for tonight's show. Thanks to John Wood. Thanks to KVV. We're gonna have more guests. We might have to really vamp tomorrow if there's delays or through the rest of this week. We'll figure it out. We're gonna be here live all week. Thanks you everyone for tuning in. Thanks to High Noon. Thanks to Athletic Greens. Thank you to DraftKings. And we greatly appreciate all of the interaction. It has been a lot of fun. So we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Thank you, Cody. Peace out, everyone. Cheers.
Cody, that's a sick hat.
Thank you. I've been there. I don't know if you know that or not.